And we're back with another episode of Three and Four's Top Fives. And it's that time, a week away from the Academy Awards. So we're doing our top five favorite movies of 2023. We'll see if we have any in common, maybe a couple, it's likely.
Yes, and we know it's been a couple of weeks, but we're still here.
Yes,
We're still
surviving.
we're still on the airwaves, the internet airwaves.
Indeed, indeed. Which we'll have to mention at least one or two honorable mentions because the word surviving made me think of one of those. But do you want to start us off with your number five?
My number five is number five, Indiana Jones.
Ah, okay. Very good. Didn't make my top five, but I did enjoy this one. Yeah.
I know I'm a diehard Indiana Jones fan, and and they went back to the original formula,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones and Nazis.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
It has to be Nazis.
Yes.
The Russians didn't make it in four, and what the hell, it's two. He was in some
Oh,
jungle someplace.
yeah, it was in India and it was that cult, whatever. Mola
Yeah,
Ram was the
right.
bad guy. Yeah,
And cults don't make it either. It's got to be Nazis.
that's right. And yeah, Spielberg didn't direct this one, which obviously four really put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So James Mangold did a pretty bang up job here, I think, as director.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was a lot of AI converting,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
The opening sequence where he's younger, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was pretty good though. I mean, there's moments where you can definitely tell,
yeah.
but overall it was pretty fun to see him young again.
I know. If they made the movie today, he'd probably look even better.
Yeah, probably. It keeps getting better like by
I
the
know.
second, it seems like.
I've just seen something. We can talk about it later, where you
Hmm.
can just describe what you want
Yeah,
in words, and the video will be created.
that's insane,
It's
man.
amazing. It really
Oh
is
my
amazing.
God. That's kind of terrifying at the same time. But yeah, going back to Indy 5, yeah, I mean, I had some issues with it, but not the ones you would think. Like I actually love the ending, what they did with like because
Yeah,
they always have to, go outside the bounds of reality a little bit and them going back in time to the
yeah.
Archimedes
The
time,
time travel. Yeah,
not to give it away for those who haven't seen
I
it,
know.
but
I
that
know.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
Yeah.
a great end. It was like Indy was like really torn at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
This was like his dream. Oh
Right.
my God, it was like,
Yeah, he didn't
yeah,
want to leave. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I think she was pretty good in the movie too. Like, uh, a little bit of that feisty, but not a romantic interest. But then also, spoiler alert, we get the very best of all the romantic leads coming in at the very end,
yeah.
giving you the little throwback to, it doesn't hurt here and
There was,
here and all
right,
that.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah, Marion saves the day for a very sweet and I think a very good send off. I wouldn't imagine there will be anything after this with Harrison. So yeah, good pick. I like it.
or or John Williams for that matter. I mean, the
Yeah.
score was really good too. I mean, Williams should get another, one of his magic scores.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and this could be his last one too.
Yeah. And John Williams, you gotta say, I mean, he's almost, I don't know if I would say 50% of what makes some of these movies that great, but close to it. I mean, what a just the theme alone is,
Yeah.
it's iconic. So yeah, absolutely. Well, great number five. Okay. So yeah, that came close to being in my top 10. There were actually a lot of good movies this year. And I won't
On the
give you my
contrary, I didn't think there were.
okay. Well, I didn't think there were that many that were like amazing, but there were a lot of really solid ones.
Yeah, there were okay movies.
Yeah, so my number five is one that might be on your list. I'm not sure because I know you saw it and you liked it, but it's The Holdovers.
That would have been my number six.
Okay, all right. Fair
Yes,
enough.
I really did like that movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's not one that I think I'm gonna go back to a lot just because it's sweet, but it's also sad.
Yeah,
Uh
but in a way, it's like his Sideways movie.
right, a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
which makes it, that's that lovable Paul Giamatti curmudgeon kind of character that the kids all despise him, but
right.
it's easy to love him because he's so sarcastic and like
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
saying because it was a romantic thing like it was in Sideways,
right.
which it wasn't, but it, it was, like you said, that lovable type character and, you
Yeah.
know, him wrestling with himself, basically.
Yes, yeah, you can tell he's got a lot of demons that come to light like later in the movie. I really like the character development of the movie because in the beginning you also kind of hate the kid played by Dominic Sessa. It's his first movie, which is amazing because he was great in it. Um, but then as you get to know him and his whole deal with his father and all that, it makes you kind of love both the characters, and then they come to really like each other by the end and respect one another. And then what he does to stand up for him to his parents was really cool. And then Divine Joy Randolph, the character that she plays, who lost her son, the cafeteria worker, she has a whole which she's nominated, I think, for also best supporting actor. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah, they're saying Giamatti has a chance at winning. It's neck and neck with him and Killian Murphy, so we shall see. But yeah, Holdovers, man, I loved it. So, all right. So what's your number four?
My number four is Air.
Ah, another good one that I have lower down, but yeah, I loved Air. Yeah,
Yeah,
good pick.
directed by Ben Affleck, and Ben
Yep,
Affleck, of course, he was playing Phil Knight, the founder of Nike,
yep,
and it was a story of Nike, a fledgling sneaker company. It was basically originally for running shoes,
yep,
and they weren't really looking for anything else. But of course, you can only make so much money as on running shoes, so they decided to get into the sponsoring an athlete or having an athlete spokesperson for their product.
and who could have picked a better athlete?
Then Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they found it a little difficult because they couldn't negotiate with Michael Jordan.
yeah,
They had to, the toughest person of all they had to negotiate with was his mother.
yep. Played great by Viola Davis. She's always
And,
great.
and she was tough.
Oh yeah. And she stuck to her guns of her demands, and it almost didn't go through, but it's an amazing movie because who would have thought like it'd be an entertaining movie for almost 2 hours of just this negotiation, which
Yeah,
many people know the outcome, but still it's like,
I know.
man,
And
it
poor Matt Damon running back and forth because he
yeah,
was the one doing the negotiation. Affleck was just basically yelling at him,
yeah.
I can't do that. I can't do that much money.
Yep. But Matt Damon was great in this too, which I mean, he's always great as well. But um, and I think he even gained a little weight for the role to
Yeah,
be, the real guy.
he was a chubbo in this one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but it was great, like how much faith he had in Jordan, who at the time was kind of underrated as a
yeah.
basketball player. So, but
And the
he,
lengths that he went through to get the thing done.
yeah,
I mean, just to get an interview with his mother.
right. But he saw
No,
the potential, and then the potential that Affleck and even Jason Bateman, who's also really good in it, couldn't see it. And yeah, man, what a story. So yeah, that
yeah,
was a great pick. I didn't have that one that high up, but I definitely really dug that one. And a lot of great music from the 80s. Like you felt like you were back in the 80s watching it.
it was really a fun movie.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah,
Glad you picked it. So okay, so my number four is was one I had a lot of fun watching in the theater, and that was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Did this make your list?
yes.
All
Uh,
right.
Obviously higher since we're already on four.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I know in other years that we've talked about Mission Impossible movies, I wasn't as much of a fan at that point, but now I'm in, man. And this one, like, as
If
far as the
part,
stunts go, that's insane.
if part two is a little bit as good as this one is,
Yeah.
I mean, it will close out the series. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, just the stunt alone of him driving off, like I was sold just watching the behind the scenes making of that stunt, of him driving off the cliff and then parachuting off. And then the payoff too in the movie with the train, like how he enters the train is so hilarious.
I know.
Oh, I love it.
And then what happened to the train after that?
Oh
I mean,
man. Yeah, that
the whole thing,
sequence.
it was just like action packed. And
Yeah,
when there was a lull,
right.
he was
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take those two sequences out of the movie, like the car chase in Rome is incredible, where he's, handcuffed with one hand and
Exactly.
he's got that I can't remember the actress's name, the Asian girl who's just like, following after them nonstop. Like uh all the villains are really good in this one, but yeah, I mean this is totally Cruise's movie, I mean,
Yeah, and the White Widow is back in this one.
yeah. Yeah, she's
Uh,
really good too.
Yeah, Vanessa Kirby. She's like
Right.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And she gets to do the whole mask thing and
Yeah, and the way she flirts,
right, right.
and the way she acts.
Oh,
And
and they bring back the guy from the first Mission Impossible. I forget his name, but he's really good in this as well. Um and Carrie Elwes from Princess Bride is in it for a little bit too. There's and of course, the usual cast, Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, and
yeah,
they're
right.
all they're
Yeah,
always great.
the old crew's back. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
but I mean, this was like an amazing movie. I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
And it doesn't feel like it's like 2.5 hours, I think, but it doesn't feel like it's
I
that
mean,
long
I
at all.
heard people, came in with, after they ordered popcorn and they didn't even touch the popcorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just like,
They've really, I mean, especially all the ones directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Even though my favorite is still Ghost Protocol, but yeah, everything since then has just been amazing. So,
yeah.
yep. All right. Well, cool. So, what's your number three?
My number three, where am I? Oh, this was a fun movie. I like
Hmm.
fun movies.
Yes.
I don't like sad movies.
Right.
Dungeon and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Okay. I
It's
haven't
fun.
seen this.
I know. It's a Dungeon and Dragons movie. I think it's like the fifth one that they've made, but this by far is a definitely good movie. Chris Pine's in it. He's his like usual head of something. So it's a head of this thieves band.
Yep.
And if you've seen any of the Star Trek movies,
Hmm.
that where he played Captain Kirk, it's like he acts the same way. He's flippant, funny. There's all these funny situations in the movie. You know, it's a feel-good movie. It makes you laugh. And the whole
Okay.
thing is that, I mean, even the way they escape from prison in the beginning, because he
Yeah.
was in prison. But the premise of the movie was that his wife dies, and he was like responsible for it. And there's a spell that he can get that will bring her back again.
Hmm.
The movie was all about these other quests that he had to do in order to get to that spell.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Sounds a little Harry Potterish in that
no, it's
way.
not, no, it's not. And Hugh Grant was in the movie.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He plays a villain in the movie.
Interesting. All right.
And he was part uh, of Pine's team initially that got caught and went to prison, but he wasn't arrested. He got away before everybody else got arrested and stuff. So there's
Yeah.
like humor with Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant is like
Yeah.
funny in the movie too.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'll have to check it out. So now I have to ask the question, did you play Dungeons and Dragons when you were a kid?
Yes and no. I've played it on the computer.
Okay, I thought
Game
so.
itself in person,
Okay.
uh, I've played it once with Joe. He tried to get me involved in the thing,
Right.
and uh, and it was only us two playing, so it wasn't like, you know, there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
I tried watching it on the internet because they have groups of people on the internet
Right.
actually playing this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's so boring. The movie was not boring at all, but
Yeah.
this was boring. I mean, the movie's over 2 hours, and it was another movie where, you know, you just sat back completely enjoyed it, even though the 2 hours went by.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I don't know that I would ever play Dungeons and Dragons, but maybe I'll check the movie out at least. Yeah, that becomes like a lifestyle for some people, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, there's uh, Dungeons and Dragons had the computer games. The first one I think was Baldur's Gate, and
Hmm.
later Icewind Dale, and those two places, and Never something, Nevermore, I think, and those three places were in the movie.
Okay.
That's an added treat for
Gotcha.
Dungeon and Dragon fans.
All right. Well, very good. Good pick. I'll allow it. So my number three is one that also you won't have on your list for sure. Um, it's a documentary.
I love documentaries.
Well, this actually, I would recommend it even to you because even if you don't know anything about this musician or his life, it's I've never seen a documentary like it. It's called American Symphony, and it's about John Baptiste, who's a Grammy-winning artist who he used to be the musician for Stephen Colbert's band on The Late Show, but he started. Well, he's always done his own thing. He's kind of like a jazz musician, but it's hard to put him in a box because he does so many different genres of music. But what's interesting about the documentary is how he really let the cameras come into his everyday life. And the plan was to make this a documentary about his upcoming symphony that he was putting on, that all his original music. But real life kind of, I guess, got in the way. His wife got cancer right before they found out, right before they started making the movie. So it becomes almost more about that than his music, but how they're coping with it. So it's very high highs and very low lows. of this guy's life for this period of time, for about a year of them getting through everything. And thankfully, his wife is now doing a lot better. She still has to get chemotherapy on a regular basis, but yeah, it's tough in moments, but it has some very profound moments as well of like, especially when he's playing his music and you can see just how much emotionally he's putting into it. So for me, as a musician and somebody who's used music as a coping mechanism, I found it just amazing. So yeah, it's on Netflix if you want to see it.
Okay.
But yeah, American Symphony, highly recommend. So, all right, what's your number two?
The second best action movie of the year.
Okay.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, okay. Another one I haven't seen. I haven't seen any of these. Can you believe
Oh
that?
my God. This was a good one.
Okay. Because I've heard you say negative things about like the last one, I think.
The one before that,
Yeah.
yeah, just mostly fighting type thing.
Okay. Right, right.
Because he was on the run. He was declared, what do they call it?
Um, Fugitive.
Excommunicado.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means that everybody can go out, kill him, and collect the bounty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one had a little bit more storyline. He's still excommunicado.
Yeah.
However, now he has a plan that he's going to kill off the high table,
Uh-huh.
the people above him, and that run the whole assassin organization.
Yeah.
So if he does that, then he wouldn't be excommunicado anymore.
Right.
And because the guy that was running the hotel, the guy's name was Winston, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the New York Continental that he was running in New York, which was a haven for all these assassins, as long as they didn't break anything, to break the code. Uh, since he helped John Wick a little bit, the high
Mm-hmm.
table was not happy with that. So they made him excommunicado, and then they destroyed the whole hotel.
Okay.
They
Interesting.
told him that if he got John Wick, then they would reinstate him again.
Okay.
So that's what the whole movie is about.
Yeah.
It comes down to a duel, and Wick has to be at the duel at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, then he can he he would appear and they would kill him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's all these crazy fight things and car things that goes on for him to get to this duel thing that are really like amazing.
All right. Well, we see your favorite genre of 2023 anyway. So I know now what your number one is, obviously.
That's obviously the number one action film of the year.
Yes. Okay. Well, we still got to get to my two and one, so I'll try to be quick. Uh, but my number two, I don't think you've seen yet because we were hoping to show you this, uh, which is Somewhere in Queens. And
You're gonna tell me this is Woody Allen?
no, so actually it's not. It's a Ray Romano movie.
Oh, yes, you told me about this movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
not
directed it and stars in it.
for the
And
fifth time. What was the name of the movie?
it's called Somewhere in Queens.
Somewhere.
And if you're a fan of Ray Romano, especially Everyone Loves Raymond, you'll like this movie because um, one of the
Does he have a
actors,
blotchy wife?
yeah, as a matter of fact, he does, played by Laura Metcalf, who so this is like, it's basically, if I had to describe it, it's kind of like a 2 hour Everyone Loves Raymond episode, but more dramatic. And
Okay,
it centers on his son, who is a really good basketball player and is getting some scouts looking at him to go to college. And Ray is like just a very devoted father, goes to all his games and wants him badly to get into this school to not have to follow the same trajectory that he did, which he works for his father's construction company. So it has a lot of heart to it. And of course, at a typical Ray Romano fashion, he makes a lot of dumb mistakes in his parenting and husbanding in the movie. And but it's great because the relationship between him and the kid is really sweet. I won't give too much away, but uh, it has some really serious moments, some really funny moments. I just that's why I had it this high. And technically, if you look on Letterboxd, it was released in 2022, but it was like the tail end before it had been released nationally. So that's why I counted it as 23. So yeah, I love it. We've watched it multiple times already and showed it to people, and everybody we've showed loves it too. So
okay.
it's on Hulu streaming, but
Oh, it's on Hulu.
yeah, you can see it probably other places as
Yeah,
well if you
well,
look.
then I'll have to wait because I'm planning on dumping Comcast and getting Hulu
Oh,
Live.
okay. All right.
So
Yeah, there's some good stuff on Hulu. The Bear is a good show that you guys would like, and Only Murders in the Building is pretty good too. Oh,
yeah.
and Life and Beth with Amy Schumer. We've watched like three different shows on Hulu lately. That's pretty good for TV shows lately. But all right, so my number one, Oppenheimer. I know you thought it was too long and should have been made probably into a documentary or
This,
something, but
this was what it was a documentary. This
right.
this was one of my disappointed movies.
Okay.
Because previous to seeing this movie, I saw the documentary Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
and that was the documentary was really good,
Okay.
and it wasn't as long.
Right.
It gave you more information without all the drama stuff. It was
Yeah.
like good. I recommend you see the documentary and then tell me which one was better.
Okay. When did the documentary come out? Was it a while back or?
It probably came out about maybe 2 months before the movie came out. Once
Oh, okay.
it was released in the theater.
I didn't realize it was that close. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I mean, of course, it's a fascinating subject. I got wrapped up not in the dramatic parts of his like relationship stuff, but in just the drama of the bomb itself and how terrifying it is a reminder that we could all be blown up at any time. So
yeah,
yeah, and I think Christopher Nolan, the way he filmed it, the music in the movie and all the little like close-ups of flame and sparks and things that he did was really pretty revolutionary. The way that it kept you engaged, like I was engaged the whole 3.5 hours. So unlike some other movies that are that long, um, not like, well, Killers of the Flower Moon was also 3.5 hours, and it didn't feel long either, but it didn't do as much for me as I thought it would.
yeah. Another disappointed movie. I
Yeah.
saw the documentary on that one also.
Yeah, I felt like a documentary would have been more interesting on that.
Yeah,
Because yeah, the focus on DiCaprio and his relationship with Molly, I felt like the wrong choice that they made there. But yeah, with Oppenheimer, like it was, I guess, like a little all over the place sometimes, especially the flashbacks and flash forwards. But even that, I felt like was really well done. Their choice of doing black and white on the flashbacks, or maybe I'm have that backwards. But Robert Downey Jr. I thought was really great in it too. Um, and Cillian Murphy, man, like as Oppenheimer, I thought he did an excellent job. Like I'd be surprised if Giamatti beats him for Best Actor, honestly, because you could just feel the regret in just his facial reactions in the second half of the movie.
yeah, I know. He had a Netflix series on.
Oh yeah, Peaky Blinders. I've
Yeah,
heard of it.
Peaky Blinders. Yeah, so it was like totally different character.
Yeah, right. And he lost a lot of weight to play Oppenheimer too, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah, like the scene where he's making that speech in front of everybody shortly after they dropped the bomb on Japan, and like he's, envisioning people that was like, yeah, it almost feels like a horror film in certain moments. Um, and I thought that was really well done, and just like certain key moments too, like where so many actors just show up in small roles, like Gary Oldman playing the president. That was a great scene, I thought too, where he was like, you know, thinking of Oppenheimer as even having an ounce of regret as being like a pansy, basically, or whatever. So, uh,
another good documentary that just came out this past week on Netflix.
mhm.
Einstein.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
in
And
relations also to the
yep.
bomb and plus, leaving Germany and you
Right, right.
all the other stuff. But that one's good too.
Yeah, I love to those scenes with him and Einstein in the movie too, and of course how it ends with them. Uh, yeah, again reminding you that he may have, destroyed the world basically or in advance. But yeah, some other horrifying moments that are just those little details of like um, when they're planning out where they're gonna bomb. And of course, the US government, possibly the most evil part of the movie. How they just take his invention and run with it. And but then like one of the guys just casually saying, oh well, we can't bomb that city because my wife and I vacation there and it's really lovely. Like and it's like Jesus, man. Uh the
But
humanity.
I know, but the thing is, it was better that we got the bomb instead of Japan getting the bomb, or
Right.
instead of Herr Hitler getting the bomb.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, definitely pros and cons to the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
if evil had to happen, it was better
yeah,
that it happened with a country that has a conscience than one that doesn't.
yes, you are correct. But yeah, so that for all those reasons, I just felt like it had to be my number one, but I can see your issues with it. Um, so real quick, I wanted to give some shout outs to some honorable mentions, and since we're on this topic,
Okay,
um, and I haven't seen it properly yet, which I will need to, but Godzilla minus one, I did see it,
did you?
and it is great, and definitely is going to be. I think when you see it, you'll see why it'll probably also be in like your top five action movies of the year. It has
Okay,
some really cool uh, moments, but it also deals with the whole nuclear fallout thing, which I don't know, for those of you who don't know the whole history of Godzilla, that's
how
Uh,
Godzilla was created.
Correct. Yeah. So they focus a lot more on that aspect. So it's almost like an interesting companion piece to Oppenheimer. But a totally different movie. But it feels very Spielberg in moments too. Like there's like a boat scene. So there's a kind of like some Jaws references and but yeah, really well done. I it may even climb higher on my list, but it made my top 10. Some other really good foreign films. Anatomy of a Fall is really good. Past Lives is really great. Um, Society of the Snow about the plane crash in the Andes
Uh,
that almost made my top five, but
I would
it's
even watch the first one when it came out 20 years ago or whatever it was.
yeah, it's a hard movie to watch, but it does a good job of not focusing 100% on the depressing elements, but on the hopeful elements of survival. So I really enjoyed it for that. And then Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage is a really weird movie, but it's great. And
I
and
forgot about Dream Scenario too.
and one of the funniest movies I've seen this past year. But yeah, those didn't quite make my top five. Did you have any other honorable mentions on yours?
Uh, yeah, Cocaine Bear.
Oh, yeah,
My
I
favorite.
still need to see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you know, I mean, what could be funnier, a funnier horror movie than
Yeah.
a bear getting addicted to cocaine in the woods and maiming, people around in the thing.
Yeah. And it is more a comedy than a horror, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Very good.
uh, the one that was in, was it her? Maybe not. Okay. Uh, A Haunting in Venice. Uh,
Okay.
Agatha Christie,
Hmm.
Poirot, detective movie was good. It was different than the ones that have come out lately.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, the Holdovers, obviously, The Covenant was good. Uh, uh, Post Afghanistan removal movie where the asset was left behind in Afghanistan
Hmm.
and the soldier that he helped went back to try to get him out.
Okay.
Very good movie. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, Creed 3,
Hmm.
Operation Fortune, Rue de a Jason Stronheim movie. It was like really good. I mean, if you like
Yeah.
Stronheim movies, they're usually funny.
Right.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the second Shazam movie. It,
Okay.
it's like it's like a family movie, for
Right.
family, because it's probably more like teenage kids and stuff. But it
Right.
was good. It was funny.
All
My
right.
disappointed movies:
Yes.
Killers of the Flower Moon,
And Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, uh, Quantumania, The Flash, Guardians of the Galaxy, Napoleon, and The Creator.
Okay. I haven't seen The Creator or Napoleon actually. Um, Man, I definitely have some other disappointing ones. Um, I can't even think of the name of it now. It's something about my father, the Sebastian Maniscalco movie, and then Robert De Niro plays his father, and it's based on his real life father. And I was like, this has potential to be really funny because I like Maniscalco as a stand-up, but oh man, it's so bad. It was my least favorite movie of the year. It's like it's not even funny. It's almost like they tried to rip off Meet the Parents, but it's so bad. So that was my most disappointing. I'm sure there were others. But yeah. So all right, so putting our list together now. Uh obviously you're one and it was my four, so it's got to be our combined one. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Yes.
So then my one would be two, which is Oppenheimer. So then it's just going back and forth basically. So then your next one down, John Wick, and then my next one down, Somewhere in Queens at four, and then so it's between Dungeons and Dragons or American Symphony, which we haven't seen each other's movies yet. So I'll give you Dungeons and Dragons since I already got technically three of my movies on the list, and you only
Okay.
have two so far. So that's fair. So that's a pretty good
Well,
list.
we could do is then put the symphony as
And number six.
at number six as a whatchamacallit,
Yeah. All right. As a bonus.
yeah, as a bonus.
All right. I'm happy with
Only
that.
because it's uh, a documentary.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I think that rounds out the list with like a different style on there. So, all right. See, it was a pretty good year for movies in 2023.
Yeah, but a lot of I don't know. To me, I'm waiting for Dune to come out. Dune 2.
Yeah. At least we did. Oh, here's another one that it wasn't disappointing to me because I knew going into it I wasn't gonna love it. But Barbie, I'm glad that didn't make either of our lists.
Oh, that was the one movie I hated. I
Yeah.
didn't mention my hate movie. I hated Barbie. I should have put
Very
it
good.
in huge capitals. It would have reminded me on my list. But yes, the
Yeah.
movie I hated.
I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't like it. I saw recently that Werner Herzog, you know who he is, right? That
Yes,
German
I know who
director.
Turner is.
I have to read this quote because it was cracking me up this morning, and I'll try and do it in his voice. He said, I managed to see the first half hour of Barbie. I was curious and I wanted to watch it because I was curious. And I still don't have an answer, but I have a suspicion. Could it be that the world of Barbie is sheer hell? For a movie ticket, as an audience, you can witness sheer hell as close as it gets. I think he may be right.
Go further.
I love that guy, man. He's like the most unintentionally hilarious dude ever.
I know. I know.
But that's great. All right. So no Barbie. And this is, according to three and four, the top six movies of 2023. At number six, American Symphony. At number five, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. At number four, Somewhere in Queens. At number three, John Wick Chapter 4. At number two, Oppenheimer. And at number one, Mission Impossible Dead
Dead
Reckoning
Reckoning
Part
1.
1. A lot of long titles in there.
I know.
But yeah, great list. Yeah. All right. So coming up next on three and four, I believe we are going to start kick off season three of the most quotable films of all time, since it's our most watched material. And
This might be our last year doing that because
yeah, we're
we
running
had
out.
certain letters we run out. But
Yeah,
A is a big, probably a lot of movies, but we're thinking of doing and probably have chosen that we're going to do Animal House.
yeah, we're doing Animal House. No democracy on this one. We picked.
That's right. Food fight!
Yeah, so many quotes, man. I mean, probably if we did have a vote, it probably would have won anyway. Even though, so we've already done Airplane was our first A, and then what was the second one? I forget.
Not very
Oh, it was Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that figures. So yeah, Animal House has got to be the next one, guys. That's what we're doing. And then we'll give you the vote with B. and it better be Blues Brothers this year or I quit.
There you go, prompting the audience again.
Yeah, that would be great though if we had two Belushi movies back to back, which is highly probable, but we'll see. So I'm putting one foot ahead. But yeah, we'll see you next week for Toga, Toga, Toga. All right, love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.